In this video, we solve quadratic equations with leading coefficients bigger than 1. When solving a quadratic equation, the first thing we should try is factorizing. For example, the quadratic equation x squared plus 7x plus 12 equals 0 can be factorized as x plus 4 times x plus 3. But how? You can think of the terms in your quadratic equation as areas. X squared is the area of a square, x by x. 7x is the area of 7 rectangles, 1 by x. 12 is the area of 12 squares, 1 by 1. Notice that we arrange them to fit into a perfect rectangle. This rectangle has base x plus 4 and height x plus 3. So what about the quadratic with leading coefficient 2? This quadratic can be visualized using the area of 2 squares x by x, 7 rectangles with dimensions 1 by x, and 6 squares 1 by 1. All we have to do is rearrange these shapes and see whether or not they can fit into a perfect rectangle. If this is possible, the quadratic can be factorized. You can fit all the pieces into a perfect rectangle, base 2x plus 3 and height x plus 2. For that, we can break down the 7 orange rectangles into two groups. One contains 4 and the other 3 orange rectangles. The height of this rectangle, x plus 2, is a common factor of the first two terms. X plus 2 is also the common factor of the last two terms. 2x plus 3 is the other factor, the base of our rectangle. This leads to the two solutions, negative 1.5 and negative 2. Some people don't like the idea of using areas to factorize because when finding that the solutions for x are negative, it makes no sense to use length x. I can see why. So let's factorize the next one without using areas. We need to solve the quadratic equation 2x squared plus 7x plus 3 equals 0. We break down the 7x. How? Well, when multiplying the leading coefficient 2 and the constant 3, the answer is 6. So we need two numbers that multiply to 6 and add up to 7. We can now factorize the first two terms using x plus 3 as their common factor. This x plus 3 is also a common factor of the last two terms. The quadratic equation can be written 2x plus 1 times x plus 3 equals 0. This equation has two solutions, either 2x plus 1 equals 0, which leads to negative 0.5, or x plus 3 equals 0, which leads to negative 3. Do you want to try? Stop the video here and give it a go. Right. To solve the quadratic equation 2x squared plus 13x plus 20 equals 0, we multiply the leading coefficient 2 and the constant 20 to get the answer 40. We need two numbers that multiply to 40 and add up to 13. The numbers are 8 and 5. We can now factorize the first two terms using x plus 4 as their common factor. This x plus 4 is also a common factor of the last two terms. The quadratic equation can be written 2x plus 5 times x plus 4 equals 0. This leads to two solutions, either x equals negative 2.5 or x equals negative 4. When our quadratic can't be factorized, it is because we can't fit the shapes into a perfect rectangle. In this case, we complete the square. I explore in depth the idea behind completing the square in this video. To master it, you need to practice. So pick and choose which of the 25 examples in this second video you wanna try.